it's Greg here, 4 o'clock in the morning, something like that. Oh well, there you go. Yeah, I just had to say something about my experiences yesterday at Parkrun. First Parkrun I'd done for a while. My former running club had taken over the event, which was quite interesting, so they were kind of doing all the voluntary roles, which was great. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about was Parkrun Tourism. Parkrun Tourism is something that has crept into Parkrun more and more, whereby people basically don't just run in their local event. Indeed, some people travel quite long distances, to say the least, to different Parkrun events. I must say, from a green perspective, it's quite disturbing. I was running along with a gentleman who had his very proud very proud Parkrun t-shirt on, 100 park runs. So I struck him up in conversation, poor guy, and said, well, how many have you done? And he said, well, I've done 170 park runs, and I've done them all around the world at different locations. And it appears this gentleman has a hobby, and his hobby is park runs, which is fair enough. But he travels huge distances around the world doing park runs. And this is something that appears to be creeping in. I've been aware of Parkrun Tourism for quite some time. But I must admit, it is quite disturbing to discover from other people that I've now spoken to that, go back a bit, oh look, you can see my t-shirt, I was in the Great South Run. It's quite disturbing when you look at the amount of travel related to the park run. And especially when people fly long distances to take part in park run. Okay, if people happen to be on holiday in different parts of the world and they choose to do the park run while they're on holiday, I can understand that, because they're having a holiday, fair enough, and they've travelled a distance to go on holiday. But my concerns about this culture, this Parkrun tourism culture, is that people are travelling long distances just to do park runs, long distances. In fact, at the park run yesterday, the park run announcer said that there was somebody there who had achieved 4 park runs in 1 week. Must have done it by crossing time zones around the world, but they'd done 4 park runs. Now the disturbing thing is, and I know you can look at that as being a running achievement, but from a green perspective, it's appalling that somebody would travel such huge distances so that they could run park runs for 4 in a week. I don't know if this was the same gentleman that I spoke to, but God, you know, if too many people start doing this, and I understand from some of my green runner friends in America, it's becoming a fairly common thing over there that people might fly across the United States. You know, they might fly from California to Washington so that they can say they've done the Washington Park Run, and then they will fly immediately home. Now the carbon footprint of this, and I know some people aren't into all this kind of thing, but the carbon footprint associated with the flying and the travelling, even if it was done by coach, but flying particularly, the carbon footprint is huge, and the damage to the environment is huge. People don't realise that, and I understand that for good reasons that some people aren't aware of these facts. But in actual fact, by flying to do a park run, by travelling to do a park run, even if you drive down the road in actual fact to do a park run, if you drive anywhere to do a run, there is a carbon footprint associated with it. And I think the responsibility is not to eliminate these things because I travel to runs as well. But when it comes to the extreme, when it comes to people having a hobby, and we all have hobbies, to travel huge distances so that they can say to their mates, look, I did whatever, Chicago, aren't I clever? I did the Chicago Marathon, Park Run, and I've ticked it. I'm ticking them all off around the world, and I'm going to go around the world, or I'm going to go around America or Britain, and I'm going to do all these park runs. I am a parkrun tourist. Well, sorry guys, but this ain't on. From a green perspective, you are hurting the world. You are hurting me. This kind of culture in running where do more, do longer, do this, do that, go further. Fair enough, but we aren't all high-level runners. We aren't all professional runners. Professional runners might have a justification for doing some travel, but even some of those professional runners, like Jasmine Paris for example, are adopting and modifying their ways of travelling and minimising their way of travelling. And that is the way everybody's got to go. And I'm sure the Green Runners will be approaching Park Run to say, look, you can't encourage a culture where people travel around the world unnecessarily to do Park Run. Park Run is a great community spirit event. Locally it is fantastic. It gets people involved, it gets people running, it gets people even that are suffering from illnesses to get running, it gets people doing things for charity, and it's good for the local community. But Parkrun Tourism, to me, well, it actually, and this is why I'm making this clip, it annoys me that people should be, it's hard to use these words, isn't it? But I will. Should be quite ignorant in the impact they're having on the environment, the world environment. Okay, they run. Running's great. We all love running. We love travelling, don't we? But no, this culture can't continue. And as I say, I personally will be lobbying Park Run, both locally and nationally or internationally or whatever. But this is something that people must be made aware of. They're hurting the environment, and it can't continue. And then when it's supported on Park Run announcements that people have come long distances, that people have done 4 park runs in 1 week, you're encouraging an anti-green, an anti-environment culture, which is not a good thing. Okay, rant over. I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning to do this. All the best. Good to speak to you. Green running. Cheers.